Being a teen is a double-edged sword when it comes to investing. On one hand, you have all the time in the world to secure your financial future. On the other hand, you generally don't have any idea how to invest or what steps to take. This is part 1 of 2, and in this first video, we are not going to talk directly about investing. Why? Because before you touch your first dollar, you need to understand the mindset and gain the perspective of an investor. How do you do that? With 4 mindset shifts that will help you work on yourself to build the right mindset for your personal financial growth. Trust me when I say this is a necessary first step. And I'll be honest with you, the 4th one might be a bit of a shocker. But, now I'm getting ahead of myself. More on that in just a moment. The first one is developing a fast lane mindset. What is that? Well, it comes from the book by MJ DeMarco called The Millionaire Fast Lane. Definitely a must-read. He talks about the reality of what it takes to get rich. It doesn't happen overnight. It is the result of being diligent and consistent with your money. This isn't the sexy, glamorous world of overnight YouTube creator success stories or social media influencers who bank millions through sponsorships. Believe it or not, if you have the right approach, you can end up way ahead of the game by the time you enter the quote-unquote real world after school. But this also speaks to the importance of building your wealth through educating yourself. There are some amazing books out there which will guide you through the process of developing the right mindset with money. Not to mention thousands of podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, and much more. There has never been a better time to surround yourself with amazing material to develop your financial intelligence. If you are new to Finance Spark, I'm Kim, and you may not realize that I've talked before about this second tip, so you OG Sparkers won't be too surprised by this one. What is it? Building in-demand and profitable skills. No, this isn't just about getting a job. We all need a job, just to pay for our smoothies and your share of last night's Uber ride. This is about developing specific skills that pay way more than being a Starbucks barista or waiting tables at Applebee's. Just an example, if I told you that you could learn the core skills of how to build a website in a weekend, would you believe me? Well, it doesn't matter if you believe me, because it is true. HTML, the core language of a website structure, can be learned in a couple of days. CSS, the code that styles a web page, can be learned in a week or 2. Within a month, you could know enough to start building websites of your own, and that is if you learn to code. You can learn how to build a website even faster without code, using content management systems like WordPress or Webflow. And this is a skill you can develop and charge a decent penny for. I'm talking a few $1,000s for each website. Can you imagine your earnings if you built a half dozen websites over the course of a year? Bank! And that is just one example. It's okay if web design isn't something that floats your boat. There are other skills out there you can learn for free online. The main idea here isn't to start learning web design specifically. The idea here is that you should always be on the lookout for opportunities to learn new skills, whether that is web design, graphic design, social media marketing, article writing, or something else. There is an abundance of ways you can earn extra cash that you can directly put to work for you through the power of investing. The third mindset tip is to build good habits. I know, you've heard this one before. But with finances and investing, what you do regularly, day in and day out, is the biggest determination of whether you build wealth for the future. So, don't sleep on this one. It's a biggie. There are a few specific habits that really influence how easily you can build wealth. The first one is tracking your expenses. Fortunately, this isn't something you have to figure out on your own. There are great apps and services that can help you with this. Check out Mint at mint.com. It helps you keep track of everything you spend and your progress towards specific financial goals. It is one of the best personal finance and budget trackers on the market. But even if you're not comfortable with technology, that's okay. Write it in a notebook. Keep track with a spreadsheet. The main point is that whatever you track is what you can improve. But if you don't know what you're spending money on, or you don't have a clear understanding of your net worth, then you can't build wealth. Habit number 2 is to take care of your health. I know. You're young and healthy now. You feel indestructible. Well, take it from me. Once you hit your 20s, things start to change pretty dramatically. If you don't get in the habit of taking care of your health and fitness now, it only becomes harder down the road. And your mental state is directly influenced by your physical state. The healthier you are, the wealthier you can become. And we haven't even talked about the excessive costs of long-term healthcare. The third habit is to live below your means, which probably sounds like a major drag. But this isn't about sacrificing fun. It is about using your money efficiently. Every experience in your life does not correspond to a dollar amount. You can have awesome adventures without spending a penny. Being frugal isn't about living the life of a monk. It is about putting some things off until a later date. Without a doubt, the hardest habit to master is the ability to delay gratification. If you can master this one skill, it will have a profound impact on your ability to build wealth, even more than anything else. Repeat after me. Patience equals profit, and waiting equals wealth. Now go write that on a piece of paper and stick it on the wall next to your bed. Your future self will thank me. With these 3 habits, the main point is this: start small and build a habit over time. You have time. Use it to your advantage. Finally, mindset tip number 4 is to consider not enrolling in college. Wait, hear me out. I know a bunch of you just started clicking away from this video, but let me explain what I mean. There is nothing wrong with higher education. It is wonderful. But going to a university just for the sake of going and not having any idea what you're doing isn't the way to go. You go for 4 or 5 years, racking up tens of thousands in debt, and are forced to take the first job you can find to start paying it all off. It is a horrible cycle that needs to end. Instead, have a plan. If college is where you need to go to fulfill that plan, then all the power to you. But if not, then consider postponing those 4 years to figure out what you're really going to do with your life. College can be an incredible opportunity, but you don't have to let it become a burden on you and your family. Plus, there are other ways to get a degree. There are free programs where you can simultaneously earn an associate's degree at a community college while finishing up your high school. That way, when you graduate, you are already halfway finished. The point is, don't spend an obscene amount of money just to figure out what you want to do. Figure out what you want to do first, and then spend strategically to make it happen in the best way possible. Otherwise, it's like you're driving a gas-guzzling car around the country with no idea where you're going. I get it. You're young. The future seems endless. It's like you have all the time in the world. And yes, I'm just a smidge jealous. But can you blame me? You will never have as good an opportunity to set yourself up for financial success as you do right now. If you play your cards right, you could be retired by the age of 30. Of course, that means you need to learn how to invest your money. This video has been all about your mindset, but in the next one, I'm going to talk about the ins and outs of building wealth as a teenager and how to get started right now. So go ahead and click here to watch it when that one is released. I'll see you there!